Our top story, well, the latest on the Pulwama attack and the aftermath, and the Chief Minister of Punjab, Arminder Singh, has hit out at Pakistani Prime Minister Imran Khan, who accused India of blaming Islamabad for the attack and demanded proof. Reacting to this, Captain Arminder Singh has said, what proof is needed when it's clear Masood Azhar resides in Pakistan and the Jaish-e-Mohammed has claimed responsibility. Listen in.
वही बंदा जो ना जैश मोहम्मद को चलाना और जैश मोहम्मद का हमला प्रूफ क्या नहीं होंगे 26 11 प्रूफ की बने जेड़े ਅਸੀਂ ਉਹ ਲਾਸ਼ਾਂ ਚੱਕ ਕੇ ਉੱਥੇ ਲੈ ਜਾਾਂਗੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਬੰਦੇ ਮਰੇ ਨੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਫੌਜ ਨੇ ਮਾਰੇ ਨੇ ਉੱਥੇ ਉਹ ਪਛਾੜੂਗਾ ਕਹੇਗਾ ਮੇਰੇ ਬੰਦੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ ਹੁਣ ਕਹਿ ਦੀਆਂ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਨੇ ਸਾਰੀ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਕਿ ਕੌਣ ਕੀ ਕਰੇ.
And Captain Singh's response comes after the Pakistani Prime Minister Imran Khan denied Islamabad had any role to play in the Pulwama attack. Imran Khan said that Pakistan is heading towards stability and there was no reason why Pakistan should engage in terror.
कोई अहमक भी इस तरह का वाकया करेगा अपनी कॉन्फ्रेंस को सैबोटाज करने के लिए, और अगर ये ना भी होती उनकी विजिट, पाकिस्तान को इससे क्या फायदा है? क्यों पाकिस्तान इस स्टेज के ऊपर, जब पाकिस्तान स्टेबिलिटी की तरफ जा रहा है, हमारे पास हमने 15 साल की दहशतगर्दी की जंग जिसमें 70,000 पाकिस्तानी मारे गए हैं, एक दहशतगर्दी नीचे जा रही है, अमन आ रहा है, स्टेबिलिटी आ रही है, हम क्यों कोई इस तरह का, इससे हमें फायदा क्या है?
And Imran Khan also said his country will take action against organizations breeding terror on his country's soil, but if India tries to attack Pakistan, his country would retaliate. This is Imran Khan's first statement on the Pulwama attack, the worst ever terror strike on security forces in Kashmir.
अगर आप ये समझते हैं कि आप पाकिस्तान के ऊपर कुछ किसी किस्म का हमला करेंगे, पाकिस्तान रिटेलिएट करने का सोचेगा नहीं, पाकिस्तान रिटेलिएट करेगा. पाकिस्तान कोई और दूसरा रास्ता नहीं होगा रिटेलिएट करने के बगैर, जवाब देने के बगैर.
And while diplomatic sources have also told WION that the United States has called upon Pakistan to let Masood Azhar be placed on the United Nations list of global terrorists, we are being told that the US officials have conveyed this message to Pakistani diplomats in Washington. The Jaish-e-Mohammed claimed responsibility, remember, as we just pointed out, for the deadly Pulwama attack. And earlier this week, India had urged the international community to support its move to place Jaish-e and its leaders on the UN list of terrorists. And we are now joined by Lieutenant General retired Syed Atta Hasnain and also Sharad Sabharwal, former Indian High Commissioner to Pakistan. Thank you both for joining us this evening. If I can come to you first, Sharad Sabharwal, sir, what do you make of Imran Khan's statement now that they need actionable evidence to act upon? We didn't just pull this Jaish-e involvement out of the hat. They've themselves claimed responsibility for this.
Well, I see nothing new at all in this. He's reading from an old script which we have heard over and over and over again after every serious terror act. He says there is no evidence. Now, what evidence is needed? Just Jaish-e-Mohammed claims responsibility. They are based in Pakistan. People here don't have the expertise, and no one here has the expertise to put together that kind of a bomb. That there are many experts in Pakistan who are in a position to do that. So what more proof is needed? And then, the old things, give us proof, give us actionable intelligence. We will look into it. We have ourselves suffered terror. We are willing to discuss terrorism with you. We are willing to investigate, look at Kashmir. And then he says we'll retaliate, and then throws in a hint of the nuclear dimension by saying it's easy to start a war, but you don't know where it's going to end.
Yes.
So it's an old script, and I would take it with a ton of salt.
Right. Lieutenant General Hasnain, would you agree with that? The fact that even after 26/11, there were dossier after dossiers that we presented to the Pakistani side. In fact, as recently as Pathankot, the ISI was allowed to come here. As Mr. Sabharwal is saying, this is going by script and there's nothing we can expect from the Pakistani side.
Absolutely. I endorse every word which Mr. Sharad Sabharwal has just spoken. He's been the High Commissioner in Pakistan. He knows that country very well. Right. But let me tell you from a military angle also. We know the Pakistan army extremely well. We know the general headquarters of Pakistan Army located at Rawalpindi. Every word which has been spoken by Imran Khan has been scripted at the general headquarters. It is very, very clear that the prompting has all been done from there. A jerky video clip has been put out. And they were waiting for Mohammed bin Salman to leave their shores. They're claiming that what is the rationale which would be there for Pakistan to do this act when Mohammed bin Salman was visiting Pakistan with a $20 billion package, and that Pakistan was actually stabilizing at this time. Yeah. I would like to tell Mr. Imran Khan that he perhaps doesn't know his army. Okay. His army is the most irrational organization in the world. They are known for their irrationality and attempting to rationalize everything which is irrational. Okay. The whole idea behind this is to do something when Mohammed bin Salman was there, so that the world will not suspect them. Most nations who do these kind of acts carry them out as an act of deception when such visits are on. Okay. Mr. Sabharwal, I mean, do you think, I mean, talking about the timing of this has come after 5 days after the attack. There was not a single Twitter message from Imran Khan all this while. Now he's had this, pulled out the statement. In the context of him getting a lifeline of a sort from Saudi Arabia in the joint statement as well, Saudi Arabia gave full support to Pakistan in dealing with terror. Do you think that was the reason why this happened a day after the Saudi Crown Prince left?
Well, I think my own assessment is that they are feeling some heat now. This may be in the form of their major international partners telling them to do something to defuse the crisis. It could also be that they are reading some signs of activity from our side on the ground. It could possibly be both. And that may have impelled him to issue this statement. Look, this has happened earlier, after the Mumbai attack, Pathankot, initial denials, and then, when pressure mounts, they do all these things. And I won't be surprised if in the coming days there is some more climb down by way of some eyewash, arrests, etc., people being placed under preventive detention. I shouldn't be surprised if we see that. I think this is an attempt to somehow, diffuse the crisis.
Okay, you think it's an attempt to diffuse the crisis, but Lieutenant General Hussain, I would certainly see a certain amount of heft being given to Pakistan after the Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince went. He's, promised him $20 billion, the fact that they've supported them in the joint statement. So I would read it certainly a little differently. Although I do have to point out that in his speech, he said we are willing to talk terror with India, which is the Indians, the precondition set by India. So do you think that was some sort of a concession being given there to the Indian side?
No, I agree with what Mr. Sabharwal just said, that this kind of a situation is always calibrated. They wait for what signals are emanating from India, what signals are emanating from the international community outside, and then according to that they calibrate their responses and reactions. What you have to remember is that besides the visit of Mohammed bin Salman and the $20 billion package, there is much more which is happening in the Afghanistan region. And Pakistan's own strategic importance is suddenly enhancing. They are going to be virtually the guarantors of any agreement that ultimately emanates with the Taliban. And therefore the United States, which is the major stakeholder here, is also treating them with kid gloves. Although we found the UN, the United States National Security Advisor giving India the freedom to act as it wants, etc. But at the same time, I think the United States will be putting a certain amount of pressure on Pakistan because it does not want this kind of a situation in the subcontinent which is going to upset whatever is being sought after in Afghanistan.
Okay, I get your point. Sharad Sabharwal, sir, then, the Financial Action Task Force meets later this week in Paris. Can we hope that Pakistan will be put in the blacklist there, and that would mean some more economic pressure, and that would also certainly, in a sense, pressurize the IMF to not give Pakistan some more another bailout? So those kind of things, do you think will work more than sort of a muscular policy that we may hope to achieve?
I don't think we are anywhere close to that. Financial Action Task Force is meeting. I believe Pakistan's case will be reviewed. I believe a more detailed review is due in May sometime. Now, last meeting in Australia, in Sydney, I think, we gave a set of 28 questions. We asked many questions, and Pakistani said they need those questions in writing. So 28 questions were given by us. They are required to give a response. They had promised to give it, I think, in this Paris meeting. Now, that may happen. But look, we shouldn't jump to any of those conclusions. You just said that Mohammed bin Salman, many important agreements were signed and so on. That is one side of it. Now, he may have privately advised them, look, there is this crisis, please do something to defuse the crisis. Same kind of advice may be coming from the Americans also, which has resulted in this statement.
Right.
But that doesn't mean that those countries are going to completely change their policy. As General Hasnain was rightly pointing out, Pakistan has suddenly gained in its confidence because it's being quoted by the Americans in the Afghan context. The Saudis are quoting them in the context of their tussle with Iran. The Russians are quoting them in the context of Afghanistan. China, of course, is deeply invested now through the CPEC. So I won't say that, blacklisting by FAT, Financial Action Task Force, is a given thing. And my own feeling also is that when that decision is taken, the Americans will go by what Pakistan does or doesn't do in the Afghanistan context, rather than, necessarily going what they do towards us.
Okay, fair enough. But Lieutenant General Hasnain, then what should our expectations be from Saudi Arabia, the Crown Prince? Earlier on the show, we had another guest who said we should keep our expectations minimum and transactional, because to have a sort of think that this is going to be one grandstanding by the Saudi Arabians as far as the Pakistani pitch is concerned is expecting too much.
I would agree with that entirely.
Yeah.
Because I think, first of all, I'm most uncomfortable with this visit of the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia coming immediately from Islamabad to Delhi, because this is the return of what is called the hyphenation of India and Pakistan. India is a class apart as far as Pakistan is concerned. We are far above. Most of the world international community has accepted it. No one now visits Islamabad and then comes to New Delhi. This is a one-off visit, and Saudi Arabia being an important country, I think India has accepted it. But having said that, I fully agree that we should keep all advice transactional. The Prince will come and discuss a lot of interesting, important matters with our Prime Minister on energy security and some aspects of a strategic partnership, etc. These are all very good things. Saudi Arabia is a very important country for us. We have a huge diaspora there. We have a lot of energy which comes from there. We have a lot of remittances which come from there. So we should continue playing it transactional. And we should not look at Saudi Arabia as interceding between India and Pakistan in any way.
Okay. Sharad Sabharwal, sir, I'll give you the last words here. Atta Hasnain saying that, there is no dehyphenation, as it were, of the relationship between India and Saudi Arabia and Saudi Arabia and Pakistan. But sources within the government earlier today told us that they certainly believe that Saudi Arabia has dehyphenated this relationship by going back to Saudi Arabia and then coming to India. Or is that just a technicality?
Well, it may be. I won't, read too much into that. Dehyphenation is now a fact of life. Everyone knows that. Occasionally, visitors who come, they go to India and Pakistan together. Now, whether this was intentional or what has happened, but I won't read too much into it. Look, it's not in my view, it's not a zero-sum game. It's not because he has signed some important agreements there, therefore he cannot do important business here. We have our own agenda. We have the economic relationship. We have the oil imports from there. A large Indian community is there, sending large remittances, as General Hasnain was saying. And then there is talk of defense cooperation. The Saudis now recognize our concerns far more than, let's say, they used to do 20 years earlier. I mean, that statement which they issued in Islamabad has nothing on Kashmir or anything of that kind. So it's a relationship apart. I think we should look at it that way, and not necessarily in the India-Pakistan context. But surely, I was saying earlier that our international partners, will go by their own interests. But to the extent we can find commonality of interests with them, and they can put some pressure on Pakistan. They already seem to be doing quietly behind the scenes, which has produced this statement. But this statement, as I said, is not enough. Pakistan has to do much more to address our concerns.
Absolutely. Pakistan has to do a lot more. Lieutenant General Atta Hasnain and Sharad Sabharwal sir, both, thank you very much indeed for joining us this evening and sharing your thoughts on Pakistan and Imran Khan's fresh statement on the Pulwama attack. Well, staying with the news about the Pulwama attack, the Indian security forces have directly blamed the Pakistani army for the deadly attack on the CRPF convoy that killed 40 personnel on the 14th of February. Now, in a joint statement hosted by the army, the CRPF and the Jammu and Kashmir police this morning, the security officials said that there was no doubt that the Pakistani army directly controlled the Jaish-e-Mohammed, which carried out this attack on the CRPF convoy. Listen in.
Pakistan Army, Jaish-e-Mohammed Pakistan Army का ही एक बच्चा है. जैश-ए-मोहम्मद को पाकिस्तान आर्मी ही कंट्रोल कर रही है और ऐसे ही कंट्रोल कर रही है. और जैसे कि आपने कल जैश-ए-मोहम्मद का रिलीज भी देखा होगा, उन्होंने ये कबूला भी है कि उनका चीफ ऑपरेशंस कमांडर जो है इस हमले में मारा गया है. तो पाकिस्तान आर्मी का इन्वॉल्वमेंट इसमें 100% है. इसमें मेरे को और आपको किसी को कोई शक नहीं है.
Speaking to the media, Kashmir's top police official said that the entire Jaish leadership in the Kashmir Valley had been eliminated within 100 hours after the Pulwama terror attack. The officers also appealed to the locals and especially mothers to make sure their sons surrender if they have taken up arms.
I would like to tell one thing to the parents of the local youth, especially the mothers, because I understand and I know in a Kashmiri society, mother has a great role to play. Through you, I would request all the mothers of Kashmir to please request their sons who have joined terrorism to surrender and get back to the mainstream. Anyone who has picked up gun in Kashmir will be eliminated unless he surrenders. And this is a message and a request to all the mothers. Please tell your children to surrender. There is a very good surrender policy being initiated by the government so that they can join the mainstream and pursue with their life.
Two Jaish-e-Mohammed terrorists, the masterminds of the attack on the CRPF convoy, were killed in an operation in Jammu and Kashmir's Pulwama on Monday. 4 soldiers were also martyred in the operation, which lasted 12 hours. On Thursday, 40 CRPF personnel were killed in that deadly attack on the convoy in Pulwama's Avantipura area. And while thousands paid their last respects to Major V.S. Dhondayal, who lost his life in the encounter in Pulwama, and Major Dhondayal's body was brought to his hometown of Dehradun in Uttarakhand. Major Dhondayal was leading a unit of the Rashtra Rifles, which had fought a fierce gun battle with the terrorists in the Pulwama district. Major Dhondayal joined the army in 2010. He is survived by his wife, mother, grandmother, and 3 sisters. And while Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman's visit to Pakistan has concluded, he is all set to arrive in India tonight on a 2-day visit. Now, Mohammed bin Salman, as we've been pointing out, will be on his first visit to India. He will be accompanied by a high-level delegation, including leading Saudi businessmen. Wednesday will be the main day of the engagements of the visit. He will be accorded a ceremonial welcome at the Rashtrapati Bhavan or the Presidential Palace. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will hold delegation-level talks with the Crown Prince and his delegation at the Hyderabad House. The two sides would conclude a document on strategic partnership as New Delhi and Riyadh are expected to launch a joint naval exercises this year. India will be looking for some strong language against the Pulwama attack, besides announcing steps to boost counter-terrorism cooperation in the joint statement. The Saudi Crown Prince and Prime Minister Modi will oversee the signing of 5 memorandum of understandings in investment, energy, tourism, housing sectors. Saudi Arabia will also join the International Solar Alliance. Prime Minister Modi and the Crown Prince had last met in November last year on the sidelines of the G20 in Argentina. After India, the Crown Prince will be scheduled to visit China. Now, the International Court of Justice has continued its hearing of the Kulbhushan Jadhav case for the second day today. The Attorney General of Pakistan, Anwar Masood Khan, while arguing the case, said Pakistan was committed to a peaceful resolution of the case. India told the UN court yesterday that Pakistan's military court trial and sentencing of Jadhav had failed to satisfy due process. Now, tomorrow India will be countering with their own arguments made by the Pakistani side. The 4-day trial began on Monday at the International Court of Justice headquarters at The Hague amidst heightened tensions between India and Pakistan in the wake of the Pulwama attack in Kashmir, in which 40 of our men have died. India urged the International Court of Justice to annul Jadav's death sentence and order his immediate release. India's senior advocate Harish Salve submitted that Pakistan violated Article 36 of the Vienna Convention, not allowing consular access to Kulbhushan Jadhav. Ahead of this Salve's 3-hour-long submission, Indian diplomats at the ICJ ignored a handshake by Pakistan's officials, while Pakistan's Attorney General Anwar Masood Khan reached out to India's Foreign Affairs Secretary Deepak Mittal to shake his hands. Mittal responded with a namaste. Khan then extended his hand to the Indian ambassador to Netherlands, and he as well greeted him with a namaste. And Siddhant Sibal is now joining us live for the very latest on this. And Siddhant, we believe that the remarks by the Pakistani side for today have concluded. I know that they started by arguing for an ad hoc Pakistani judge. What followed after that?
Well, what happened today at the World Court was something that Islamabad has always been doing, politicizing the entire issue. Well, when we saw how India's counsel yesterday was arguing, it was based on facts, it was based on Vienna Convention, the articles and law. Today, what the Pakistani counsel did was try to politicize it and clearly put into the entire court India-Pakistan equation. What he did is to quote, of course, few Indian journalists when it comes to proving that Kulbhushan Jadhav was a spy. But interestingly, he also dragged the name of India's National Security Advisor Ajit Doval and his famous statement that if another Mumbai happens, Pakistan will lose Baluchistan. Clearly, it shows that how Pakistan is using the World Court to stage its own propaganda. And also, if you look at the visuals coming from the World Court, there were two big screens also put by the Pakistani side to put all the presentations. Pakistan was well prepared, but well prepared to put its lies on the screen in front of the world.
All right, Siddhant, thanks very much indeed for joining us with the latest there on what the Pakistanis had to say in ICJ today, and of course a counter argument tomorrow by the Indian side.